Welcome to HFCL Time Machine. Past, present, future, all connected.
Let's step into today's chapter where we explore how connectivity reached one of India's most sacred pilgrimages and what it means for the future of digital inclusion, smart tourism, and technology-enabled spiritual experiences. I mean, imagine you were standing at an altitude of well over 3,000 meters above sea level.
Oh, easily. It is incredibly high up.
Right, so the air is super thin, the wind is just cutting right through your jacket, and all around you are these towering, completely snow-capped Himalayan peaks.
It's beautiful, but it is a harsh environment.
Very harsh. And you were there for the Char Dham Yatra, this deeply moving journey to the shrines of Yamunotri, Gangotri, Kedarnath, and Badrinath. It is an experience deeply rooted in the ancient wisdom of the Vedas, deep meditation, and just a timeless spiritual heritage.
Right.
But right next to this profound ancient spirituality is a very stark, very modern reality.
Yeah.
And that is, you really need to text your family down in the plains to tell them you are safe.
It is just such a fascinating juxtaposition. I mean, for millennia, the traditional image of this spiritual seeker in India has been one of total isolation.
Yeah, you leave the world behind.
Exactly. You disconnect from all material ties to connect purely with the divine. But today, the reality of undertaking the Char Dham Yatra involves navigating unbelievably rugged terrains, extreme weather conditions, and just massive, massive crowds.
Huge crowds.
Right. So disconnecting completely from the outside world, it's no longer just impractical, it is fundamentally unsafe.
I tell you, I was looking into the sheer numbers here, and my mind just completely melted.
The data is staggering.
It really is. I mean, we aren't talking about providing a basic Wi-Fi hotspot for a small, sleepy mountain village. In 2024 alone, there were 29.52 lakh total registrations for the Yatra.
Nearly 3 million people.
Right. For anyone trying to visualize that, we were talking about nearly 3 million people moving through these incredibly narrow mountain passes. And here is the statistic that genuinely stopped me in my tracks.
Let's hear it.
Over 7 lakh pilgrims visited Kedarnath alone in just a 4-week window.
Wow.
Just between May 10 and June 6. 7 lakh people.
Which completely breaks traditional infrastructure models. I mean, when telecom companies build cellular networks for a remote mountainous region in Uttarakhand, they design it for the local indigenous population.
Right, which isn't very big.
Exactly. It's relatively sparse.
Yeah.
Suddenly, over the course of just a few weeks, hundreds of thousands of devotees arrive. It is a massive demographic explosion.
Yeah.
So the existing cellular networks, they don't just slow down, they completely collapse under the sheer population pressure.
If you, as the listener, have ever tried to send a simple text message or load a web page from inside a crowded cricket stadium,
Yeah.
your phone just gives up.
Oh, yeah. 0 bars.
The network is totally jammed. Now, multiply that stadium crowd by 10, stretch them out along treacherous mountain trails, and throw in a Himalayan blizzard.
It's a logistical nightmare.
How do you even begin to manage that safely? Okay, let's unpack this. It's like temporarily moving the entire population of a mid-sized city to a remote mountaintop, but without any of the underlying communication grids.
Right.
It goes way beyond wanting to post a nice photo of a temple.
What's fascinating here is that the lack of connectivity wasn't just an inconvenience for taking photos or updating social media. It severely hindered vital coordination.
Coordination for the organizers.
Right, precisely. Think about the people actually running the Yatra. You have an on-ground operations team, medical staff, disaster response units, and the temple authorities themselves. They are all trying to manage the flow of lakhs of transient visitors in a highly volatile, unpredictable environment. If their communication networks falter because the cell towers are jammed, the risk of a stampede or people getting lost in the cold, or medical emergencies going completely unaddressed, that risk skyrockets.
Okay, so the traditional cellular networks are failing. The environment is actively hostile to electronics, and actual human lives are on the line.
High stakes, yeah.
A radically new approach was needed, and this is where HFCL comes into the picture. Because they decided to step in and blanket the entire Char Dham route with seamless high-speed Wi-Fi.
Yes, they did.
But, I mean, you can't just casually walk up to a Himalayan peak and plug in a router.
No, you certainly cannot. And HFCL knew immediately that this wasn't a solo mission.
Right.
The first step was forming a massive strategic alliance. They didn't do it alone. They collaborated with a Tier 1 internet service provider, the government of Uttarakhand, the temple authorities, and various local partners.
Because you need all those permissions and access.
Exactly. And before a single wire was cut, they had to conduct meticulous, really exhausting physical surveys of the 4 temples and all the key checkpoints along the trekking routes.
Wow.
Just to see if deploying the hardware was even physically feasible.
Which makes sense. I mean, you need to know where the people actually bottlenecks.
Right.
And from the source material, their analysis led them to identify 15 critical user hotspot areas where they decided to deploy outdoor access points. But wait, I have to challenge this premise for a second.
Oh, go ahead.
We are talking about putting highly sensitive tech equipment on a Himalayan peak. Doesn't a standard Wi-Fi router just, freeze solid or short circuit in that kind of unpredictable freezing mountain rain?
Sure.
Because honestly, my home router drops my Zoom calls if I run the microwave in the kitchen at the same time.
It is a very fair comparison, and it highlights exactly why consumer-grade technology has absolutely no place in the Himalayas.
Right. It would just die instantly.
Instantly. The access points that HFCL deployed were industrially robust. Specifically, they carried a stringent IP67 certification.
Okay, IP67. Translate that for us. What does that actually mean when the snow starts falling?
Well, the IP stands for ingress protection. It is an international standard.
Okay.
The first number, the 6 foot, means the device is completely dust-tight.
Oh, I see.
Think about the thousands of footsteps kicking up fine mountain dust and debris on the trail. None of it can get inside the circuitry. Then the second number, the 7, is the crucial one for the mountains. It means the equipment is protected against the effects of temporary immersion in water.
So freezing rain, snowmelt, heavy condensation.
Exactly. None of it will penetrate the outer casing. It is essentially armor-plated internet.
Armor-plated internet, I love that.
And because of this industrial-grade robustness, these access points are able to deliver much faster data rates and handle incredibly high user capacity, even when completely surrounded by a wet, freezing, and crowded environment.
And I think it's really important to highlight a critical logistical advantage they had here. I mean, HFCL didn't just buy this gear off a shelf from some global tech conglomerate and hope it would survive an Indian mountain.
No, they didn't.
They actually have their own R&D centers in Gurgaon and Bengaluru. They have state-of-the-art manufacturing plants in Hyderabad, Goa, and Chennai.
It's a huge advantage.
Because they produce everything from 5G radio access networks to Wi-Fi 7 equipment right here domestically, they can engineer this tech specifically for these harsh conditions.
That domestic capability was absolutely vital to the success of the mission.
Right.
When you control the research, the development, and the manufacturing, you have the technological maturity to custom build solutions for your own geography.
Yeah. You aren't relying on someone else's specs.
Exactly. It proves that India has the internal backbone to support these incredibly ambitious world-class rollouts without relying entirely on imported hardware that, frankly, might not be suited for a Himalayan monsoon.
So they have the right armor-plated hardware. But the way they actually installed it was quite clever, too. They used a phased approach.
Yes.
They didn't just, shut down the entire yatra for a month to lay cables. The source material notes that the installation started down at the base camps and progressively expanded up the mountain trails to the temple complexes.
That phased rollout was the only way to manage the logistics. I mean, imagine trying to haul heavy, specialized networking equipment up steep mountain paths on mules or human backs, while lakhs of devotees are simultaneously trying to make their way up for darshan.
Right, it would be pure chaos.
By phasing it, they maintained order. And even better, they immediately started providing connectivity where it was needed most, first at the staging areas where people gather before the main climb.
It's like building the airplane while you're already flying it. You could literally be walking the trail, and the network is essentially being built and activated right alongside you.
Quite literally, yes.
But getting the hardware up the mountain and turning it on is really only step one.
Yeah.
Let's dig into the unseen backbone of this whole operation, because keeping that network alive when the environment is actively trying to destroy it, that is the real engineering marvel here.
Oh, absolutely. The access points, the white boxes you see on the poles, are just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
Behind them, handling the massive, chaotic flow of data from all those smartphones, HFCL installed fully managed Layer 2 8-port switches.
Okay, yeah.
And each one of these switches can handle the uplink connectivity for up to 8 access points.
Hold on, let me pause you right there. Layer 2. What layer are we currently on? Explain that to me like I'm setting up the network in my living room.
Fair enough. Let's simplify it. Think of a network as having different levels or layers of communication.
Okay.
Layer 1 is just the physical stuff, the copper cables, the fiber optics, the raw electricity flowing back and forth.
The wires?
Exactly. Layer 2 is the data link layer. A Layer 2 switch acts like a highly intelligent local postmaster.
A postmaster.
Yes, it connects devices like our Wi-Fi access points on the exact same local network. It knows exactly which specific phone is asking for which piece of data, and it routes that traffic locally and instantly.
Oh, I see.
It does all this without having to send the request all the way out to the wider internet just to figure out where it should go.
Okay, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
It's keeping the local traffic moving fast on the ground without bothering the main post office.
Exactly.
But a switch is only as good as the cable feeding it, right? We're in a highly volatile mountainous region. A landslide, a minor earthquake, or even just a falling tree could easily sever a main network cable.
Which is the nightmare scenario for network engineers.
I bet.
If a single main cable is cut, typically everything downstream from that cut goes completely dark. To prevent that, HFCL implemented a protocol called Ethernet Ring Protection Switching, or ERPS.
Wait, so if a cable gets cut, is it basically acting like a traffic detour?
That is a brilliant way to look at it, yes.
Okay.
ERPS is essentially a high-tech, automated traffic detour system. The data travels along a digital road that is built in a physical ring formation.
Right.
If one side of that ring gets washed out by a landslide, the network doesn't just stop and throw an error. In milliseconds, it instantly reroutes your data in the opposite direction around the ring to its destination.
Wow, so the connection doesn't drop.
Exactly. You, as the user, standing in the freezing cold outside the Kedarnath temple trying to load a web page, wouldn't even notice the disruption.
That is wild. It's a self-healing network.
It really is.
But even with automated detours, software glitches happen. Configurations need tweaking. And you cannot exactly send an IT technician on a 2-day trek up a mountain every time there is a bug.
No, you can't.
Imagine the IT support ticket for that. Please walk 16 kilometers uphill in the snow, dodge a few yaks, and reset router number 4.
The downtime would be measured in days, not minutes.
Yeah.
To solve this, if we connect this to the bigger picture, HFCL utilized a sophisticated cloud-based network management system.
Oh, okay.
They configured the entire solution on a central cloud controller. This allowed the network administrators, who were sitting in a warm, safe control room miles and miles away, to remotely monitor, manage, and maintain the entire network infrastructure in real time.
That is so smart.
It gave them the crucial flexibility to react proactively to shifting pilgrimage dynamics without sending anyone up the mountain.
And managing those dynamics brings up a really important point about security. It means managing who gets on the network and how.
Yes, very true.
Because when I think of free public Wi-Fi, I usually think of a wide open, unsecured network at a coffee shop where my data is just floating out there for anyone with a laptop to grab.
And in a dense crowd of 7 lakh people, an unsecured public network is a massive security vulnerability.
Huge.
HFCL recognized this immediately and implemented an advanced captive portal.
Okay, another piece of tech terminology. A captive portal.
Yes.
Usually that's just that annoying pop-up screen where I have to check a box saying I agree to the terms and conditions before I get the free airport Wi-Fi, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does that actually secure a network of this size?
It is much more than just a checkbox here.
Yeah.
Think of this captive portal not just as a login screen, but as a very strict digital bouncer at the door of a highly exclusive club.
A digital bouncer.
Right. When you try to connect, this bouncer checks your credentials. It provides secure user onboarding, often requiring OTP verification to ensure you are a real person.
Okay, so no bots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it defines user permissions, assigning you a specific wristband, so to speak. So regular users can only access the internet and can't wander into the VIP area where the network administration tools are. By strictly monitoring and controlling access, the captive portal ensures data privacy for the devotees and protects the overall integrity of the network against malicious actors who might try to exploit a massive public crowd.
So if we look at the big picture of what they built, we have armor-plated hardware surviving the snow, a self-healing ring network routing around landslides,
Yep.
remote cloud management saving technicians, a 16-kilometer hike, and a digital bouncer keeping hackers out. It is a literal fortress of connectivity in the clouds.
It really is an engineering marvel.
But let's transition from the back-end engineering to the actual user. 700,000 people are trying to use this. Does it actually work? Or is it that frustrating one bar of Wi-Fi where nothing ever loads?
Yeah.
What are the actual performance metrics of this Himalayan fortress?
The metrics are genuinely staggering.
Okay, leamos.
Despite the environment, the network achieved over 200 millipedes throughput. It successfully served more than 2,000 concurrent users daily across those 15 specific hotspot zones. And during that peak 4-week season we discussed, the infrastructure handled a massive 100 terabytes of data traffic.
Wait, 100 terabytes?
100 terabytes.
To put that in perspective for you listening, that's the equivalent of streaming high-definition Netflix continuously for about 3.5 years.
That's a lot of data.
And this is all happening on the side of a freezing mountain in the span of a few weeks.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean? What does it mean for the person actually taking the journey?
It completely redefines the yatra experience.
Right.
It means the image of the isolated spiritual wanderer has evolved. You can be deeply connected to your faith, standing in absolute awe of these ancient sacred shrines while remaining safely tethered to your family.
Yeah.
I mean, a son sitting in an office in Delhi can receive a live WhatsApp video call from his elderly parents, showing him the Yamunotri temple in real time.
That is just incredible. And beyond the emotional connection, the real-world practical benefits are huge.
Oh, certainly.
A reliable network means devotees can make safe digital transactions. If you run out of cash, you can use UPI to pay for a hot cup of chai, accommodation, or temple offerings.
Which is so convenient.
Right, and that directly stimulates the local economy in Uttarakhand and actively promotes smart tourism.
Most crucially, from an administrative standpoint, this high-speed connectivity allows the government and disaster management teams to push timely updates.
Yes, safety first.
They can send weather warnings, route conditions, and emergency alerts directly to the phones of the pilgrims in real time, vastly improving crowd control and public safety.
It prevents chaos. It brings a layer of modern safety to a deeply moving, centuries-old human experience.
Precisely.
This deployment at Char Dham has really set a global benchmark. It demonstrates that you can take the most advanced digital infrastructure in the world and blend it seamlessly with deeply traditional religious practices.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't ruin the sanctity of the site. In fact, by managing the human footprint safely and efficiently, the technology actually helps preserve that sanctity for future generations.
Exactly. True digital inclusion isn't just about bringing fiber optic cables to modern, comfortable cities or corporate tech parks.
Right, it's bigger than that.
True inclusion means bringing world-class, resilient, self-healing technology to the most unforgiving, marginalized terrains on Earth.
Yeah.
It's about proving that absolute safety, high-speed connectivity, and modernization can exist side by side with our most treasured cultural heritage, even at 3,000 meters above sea level.
Which brings up a really fascinating, somewhat provocative thought, one that expands far beyond the borders of Uttarakhand.
Oh.
If we now have the technological maturity to deploy a self-healing, cloud-managed, industrial-grade network in the freezing Himalayas for millions of transient users, what does this mean for the future of the world's most isolated communities?
That is a great question.
If the highest peaks and the most sacred, ancient paths are now seamlessly woven into the digital fabric of the world, will the very concept of being truly off the grid soon become entirely obsolete?
Something to think about.
Will there be anywhere left on Earth where you simply cannot be reached? Something to ponder the next time you look at the Wi-Fi bars on your phone. And that brings us to the end of this chapter in the HFCL Time Machine. Until next time, stay connected to what's next.
You've been listening to HFCL Time Machine. For more conversations like this, find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube.